So here now, Martin Preib, the Chicago Police Union vice president, who has blasted State Attorney Kim Foxx's decision to drop these charges and is renewing calls for a federal investigation into her handling of the case, as Trace just mentioned. Sir, good to have you with us this evening. What do you think happened here?
Something very dark and suspicious. You know, this is not the first time we've attacked the Fox administration since she came into office. There's a lot here that investigative reporters definitely need to work with, and we definitely believe that the federal authorities should investigate what happened here and look at the evidence. And we certainly hope that Mayor Emanuel's strong rhetoric will translate into the same call for a federal investigation.
So let's put up on the screen the explanation for the decision to drop the charges. It says, after reviewing all of the facts and circumstances of this case, including Mr. Smollett's volunteer service in the community and agreement to forfeit his bond to the city of Chicago, we believe this outcome is a just disposition and appropriate resolution to this case, she says. So essentially, it looks like it's not an exoneration note, but it says because he's done, some nice community service, good things for the city, and because the $10,000 bond is going to be given back to the city of Chicago, they're just going to call it a done deal.
It's complete nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't address the issues. We've gotten this from Fox on several key cases. It's just kind of a Chicago doublespeak. The good thing about all this is that the national media gets a really clear window into how the criminal justice system works, or I should say doesn't work, in Chicago. This is an example of how things work in this city, and it's ludicrous, it's ridiculous, and but that's the reality of things in Chicago.
I want to play one more soundbite from Jussie Smollett today, who was very clear in how he felt about all of this. He clearly felt that he was vindicated and that he had expressed his innocence all along and stood by it. Watch this.
I would also like to thank the state of Illinois for attempting to do what's right. But make no mistakes, I will always continue to fight for the justice, equality, and betterment of marginalized people everywhere.
All right, so he says he's going to continue to fight for justice of marginalized people everywhere. I'm not sure what that means in terms of his case. We know that the two brothers, in terms of the police investigation, were found to have, they spoke out about what they said he asked them to do to create this hoax in their mind. That was what they spoke out about. So what happens now? I mean, if he says this happened, who did this to him, and where does the investigation go now?
Well, okay, but let's ask a few basic questions before that. If you were innocent and you were being charged with all this, wouldn't you want to go to court and prove your innocence?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't a trial be the place where you would want to go and just destroy your accusers? But when you have a prosecutor, who's willing to bail you out, his statements are really just laughing at the system. And, he disguises them in the traditional rhetoric of social justice and whatnot. But that's a common trope in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very general statement. He's not saying, he's saying that he was the victim of a hate crime. He's standing by the beginning of that story. And yet he professes no outrage about what happened to him or finding the people who actually did it, if in fact that's what happened. Martin, we got to leave it there. Thank you very much. We're going to stay on it. Good to see you tonight, sir. Thank you
very much.